Okay, good morning. On behalf of Innovation Norway, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to this webinar related to the open call in the frame of the Business Innovation Greece program. So my name is Annelise Rognedalen, and I am the Program Director for the Business Innovation Greece program and also the legal representative of Innovation Norway's Athens branch. So the aim of this digital event today is twofold. Firstly, we will present to you the Business Innovation Greece program and the upcoming third call for project proposals. And secondly, to facilitate potential bilateral partnership projects between Greek companies and entities from Norway and Iceland. Actually, more than 100 participants have signed up for this webinar today, and we are very satisfied with the number of participants, and this should also be a good basis for the matchmaking between the partners. But before I continue with my presentation, I will give the word to my colleague Ranveig, who will inform you about some technical issues for this webinar.
Thank you, Annelise, and welcome to everyone. My name is Ranveig. I work at Innovation Norway as well in Oslo. I am here as tech support today, so let me know if any issues. I need to let you know that we are recording this webinar, so please bear that in mind if you choose to have your video on. Otherwise, we don't have a chat in the meeting, but we will have a Q&A session towards the end, where you can gather your questions to all the presentations, and then you will have the chance to ask questions. You can then choose to put your video on or not, but you need to unmute to ask the question. And in order to ask a question, you can just raise your hand. You see the raised hand option up towards the right on your screen. Otherwise, we hope that you can stay muted during the presentations, because any noise from the background really disrupts the sound for everyone else. That is it for the technical part. Also on the matchmaking, Annelise, I should say, this webinar is for an hour, 1.5 hours. After this, we have the matchmaking session, which you have all signed up in. You have made profiles in the B2Match platform. That's great, and they look good, which means you are ready also to book meetings. And we wanted to remind you again that you are able to book meetings as we go along until the matchmaking starts, also during this webinar. Please do also remember to look at the meeting requests that others might have sent to you, because it's nice to either accept or reject so that the people will know. That's it, I think, from me, the boring stuff. Send me an email if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ranveig. Then do we have the presentation on the screen? So you have all seen the agenda for this webinar, and first Innovation Norway will present the business program and its specificities, and thereafter we will have 5 external speakers, 4 Greek companies and the Hellenic Development Bank. So we expect to start with the Q&A session after approximately 1 hour and 10 minutes, and we will wrap up this webinar, as Ranveig said, at the latest after 1 hour and 30 minutes. So then I think we can move on with the presentation. So as you know, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein are not members of the EU, but we are members of the European Economic Area Agreement, in short EEA. And through the EEA agreement, we have access to EU's internal market. So the EEA and Norway grants are the financial contribution from Iceland, Norway and Liechtenstein, and it has 2 overall objectives. One is to contribute to reducing social and economic disparities in the European Economic Area, and the other is to increase the bilateral relations between the donor states, which is then Iceland, Norway and Liechtenstein, and the 15 beneficiary states in Central and Southern Europe. The total financial contribution for the present financial period is 2.8 billion euros. And Greece has actually benefited from the EEA grants since 1994. And for the present financial period, Greece is receiving close to 117 million euros. And these funds are distributed between 9 different programs. However, it is the first time that we have a business development program in Greece. So the business development program is the only program under the EEA and Norway grants that are, we are a little bit ahead of my schedule, but the presentation is the only program that are dedicated and targeting to private enterprises. And there was one previous slide with a map, and then you could see that we have the ongoing business programs, here it is, in 9 countries. And Innovation Norway is the fund operator for 4 of these programs. It is in Bulgaria, Croatia, Greece, and Romania. Then we move on to what is actually the Business Innovation Greece program. This slide, yes. So the Business Innovation Greece program is a program aiming to contribute to increase value creation in Greek enterprises and to increase their competitiveness and also to increase the profitability in Greek enterprises. And the program offers financial support, non-reimbursable grants to projects for growth in Greek enterprises. The program focus fits very well to the circular economy thinking, and we are looking for projects for investments in new processes, technologies, facilities, including digitalization and automation. And we also look for projects to develop new innovative product services and to support their growth. And we have 3 focus areas in the business program. It is the green industry innovation, blue growth, and ICT. We have an overall allocation to this program of 21.5 million euros actually, and the funds are distributed to projects through open calls and competition. Since this program is operated by the donor states, it is a unique opportunity to find bilateral project partners. So if you need some new expertise, technology, or know-how in order to implement a project, then we encourage you to look for bilateral project partner. Innovation Norway is the Norwegian government's main tool for business development among Norwegian businesses, but we have also been operating some selected programs under the EEA and Norway grants for the last 15 years. Innovation Norway is fully responsible for the business program in Greece, and we operate without any Greek intermediate body. However, we have a national program partner. It is the Hellenic Development Bank, and we also collaborate with the Ministry of Development and Investment, who is the Greek national focal point for EEA grants in Greece. So far, we have organized 2 calls in the business program in Greece. In the first call, we received 35 applications and we approved 16 of them. As you can see from the slide, it's a good distribution between the 3 focus areas, with 6 blue growth, 6 ICT, and 4 green industry innovation projects. 3 of these projects are investment projects, while the others are R&D related projects. Then we are talking about experimental development. And as you can see, 6 donor partnership projects were approved in the first call. And on the link on the screen, you will find a short video presenting the 16 projects that were selected after the first call. We are now wrapping up the results from the second call for proposals, and so far we have approved the 9 projects. We expect to approve 1 more. And as you will see, there will be no projects under the blue growth focus area in the second call, but we will have projects under ICT and green industry innovation. Again, we have mainly R&D projects, only 3 investment projects so far. And this time there are even fewer bilateral partnership projects, only 2 among those selected from the second call. So there is a good possibility to improve these bilateral donor partnership projects. Next step. Now we are going to launch very soon the 3rd and final call under this Business Innovation Greece program. We are waiting for some reallocations from the donor secretariat, but we hope to launch the call in March, and then the deadline for applications will be after 3 months, so we expect end of June. We will have the same three focus areas in the third call: green industry innovation, blue growth, and ICT. And the available funding are expected to be approximately 8.3 million euros. The Greek enterprises can apply for grant amounts in the range from 50,000 euros up to 1.5 million euros, so there is a big span. But you have to be aware of the fact that all projects need to be finalized by 30th of April 2024. This is the absolute final deadline for eligibility of expenses under this program period. That's why we have said 16 months of implementation for projects. So be aware of this. And because of this, we are also hoping to receive more industry. All economic sectors are eligible for grants with some limitations under the state aid, which my colleague will come back to later on. But of course, if you have an R&D project, be aware that 16 months is the maximum implementation period. The good thing is that we have a new regional aid map for Greece now, and grant rates for investments have increased quite a lot. So this is very good news for the program and for Greek enterprises. When the call text is ready and all the supporting documents and templates will be uploaded, published on the program site for the Business Innovation Greece program, and you will see the link on the screen. Since this program is operated by a foreign entity, Innovation Norway, the program language is English and the application form is electronic, and all application and supporting documents will be submitted to Innovation Norway online and in the English language. So this is in short about the program and the background. Now I will give the word to my two colleagues from Athens office, Haris and Sofia, and they will go through all the details about this Business Innovation Greece program. Please, Haris.
Thank you very much, Annalisa. Hello, my name is Haris Adraktas, and I will go through some of the eligibility requirements for applicants in projects, as well as the applicable grant rates for the program. So starting off, I have to mention that the eligible applicants can be any company that is registered in Greece, be it either SME based on EU recommendation or a large enterprise that, however, does not have more than 25% of state ownership. A company that is in operation for at least 3 years can apply for a grant from 200,000 and up to 1.5 million, whereas an SME that has been in operation for at least 1 year can also apply for a grant below 200,000. Eligible partners in the program can be any private or public entity, commercial or non-commercial, that is registered in Greece or in one of the donor states, so Iceland, Liechtenstein, or Norway. Now, there are two overall grant schemes offered in the program that are based on the company size or the size of the grant requested. On one hand, we have the individual project scheme that concerns any company that is registered in Greece and that has been in operation for at least 3 years. And the grant requested in this scheme can be from 200,000 and up to 1.5 million. On the other hand, we have the small grant scheme that is only available for SMEs that are registered in Greece and that have been in operation for at least 1 year. The grant requested under the small grant scheme can be from 50,000 and up to 200,000 euros. For both grant schemes, we have the same three focus areas, as previously mentioned, which are green industry innovation, blue growth, and ICT. Please note that all projects are co-financed, so a grant will be provided by the program if the application is successful, but the company must also commit own funds to the project. That can be from future cash flows of the company, debt financing, or capital increase. In that regard, the Hellenic Development Bank, HDB, can be of assistance because they have relevant guarantee and other financial schemes, which will be discussed later on. Please also note that all projects must contribute to increased profitability and revenues for the Greek applicant. Now moving on, there are two overarching categories for the projects that can be supported in the program. On one hand, we have the investment projects that concern the application of existing technology or process that is new for the company. And on the other hand, we have R&D projects that concern the development of new products or services that are innovative at an international level. Please note that all activities and expenses included in the project budget must fall under one of the articles of the European Commission's General Block Exemption Regulation, or GBER, which are referenced in the call text. So let's see what are these articles that are in the General Block Exemption Regulation, which dictate the eligible activities and applicable grant rates. For investment projects, we have on one hand the regional investment aid, so GBER Articles 13 and 14, that offer a grant rate ranging from 15% to 50%, which is dictated based on the regional aid map for Greece. We will go through the details for that a bit later on. On the other hand, we have also the aid for environmental protection, so GBER Articles 36 to 38. Article 36 concerns investment aid to go beyond and above the available EU standards for environmental protection, or to increase the level of environmental protection in the absence of EU standards. Article 37 concerns investment aid for area adaptation to future EU standards that are not yet in force. And Article 38 concerns investment aid for energy efficiency measures. The grant rates range from 5 to 40%, and there is also an added bonus depending on the area where those are implemented, which is dictated based on the regional aid map. Moving on to R&D projects, we have GBER Article 25, which offers a basic grant rate of 25% for experimental development, that is for TRL 5 to TRL 8. And there is also a 15% bonus for meaningful and effective collaboration between at least two parties that collaborate on R&D activities. Just to mention that there is an SME bonus that is offered based on the company size. That is 20% for small companies and 10% for medium companies. And this is relevant for Articles 13, 14, 25, 36, and 38. Last but not least, we also have aid to SMEs, so GBER Articles 18 and 19 that concern only SMEs and can offer aid for either consultancy services or for participation in fairs. The applicable grant rate for those articles is 50%, and there is no bonus. Now let's see a few more information about the investment projects, and specifically for Articles 13 and 14 and the regional aid map. So we have, let's see the types of investment that can be supported through regional investment aid. For SMEs, it can be any form of initial investment in tangible or intangible assets. But for large companies, it can only be an initial investment for a new economic activity. So there has to be a new NACE code under that activity to be supported. The SME classification is based on the EC's recommendation and is displayed on the table on the slide. So let's see what we mean when we say initial investment. What can be supported through initial investment? It can be the setup of a new establishment, the extension of the capacity of an existing establishment, the diversification of the output of an establishment into products that were not previously produced, or the fundamental change in the overall production process of an existing establishment. Please note that the equipment must be maintained in the area for at least 5 years. There are some areas that are excluded from regional investment aid, and those are the transport sector and relevant infrastructure, the energy production, distribution, and the relevant infrastructure, shipbuilding, the textile sector in whatever is related to synthetic fibers and fabrics, the primary agricultural production, fisheries, and aquaculture. This is the new regional aid map for Greece, which was recently published and concerns the programming period from 2022 to 2027. In this map, you can see the maximum grant rates allowed for large companies in all the different areas in Greece. The grant rates are for large companies, and there is a bonus for small or medium companies that is 20% for small companies and 10% for medium-sized companies. Now let's move on to R&D projects that fall under GBER Article 25. So in the call text, we only allow for experimental development activities experimental development concerns the acquiring, combining, shaping, or using existing scientific, technological, business, and other relevant knowledge and skills with the aim of developing new or improved products, processes, or services. Experimental development concerns the technology readiness levels, TRL, of 5 to 8, which are displayed here. And please note that experimental development cannot include routine or periodic changes made to existing products, production lines, manufacturing processes, services, and other operations in progress, even if those changes constitute improvements. So this is because those are not considered to be R&D. So all R&D activities must fulfill the following criteria that are based on the Frascati manual. All R&D activities have to be novel, have to be creative, have to be uncertain in outcome, systematic, and transferable or reproducible. Now let's go through the focus areas of the program. Starting off, we have Green Industry Innovation, or GII. GII can concern the development, implementation, and investment in innovative, environmentally friendly technologies, the development of green products and services, or the development and implementation of greener production processes. Some examples of activities that can be supported under GII are, for example, the development of novel green product or technology, for example, novel technology for the processing of hazardous waste, can be the application of innovative solutions for more efficient use of resources during the production process, or can be the modernizing of the production process that would lead to a reduction of energy consumption and/or CO2 emissions. What cannot be supported under GII are activities related to energy production, because those are excluded from the articles of the General Block Exemption Regulation. Next, we have blue growth. Blue growth can concern, on one hand, the development or investment in maritime superstructures, coastal and maritime tourism, or blue biotechnology. And on the other hand, it can concern the development only of innovative products and/or solutions that are related to marine transport, blue energy, fisheries and aquaculture, the reduction of marine litter and waste, salination. Some possible examples of activities that could be supported under blue growth are the development of solutions using marine and freshwater organisms for food supply, pharmaceuticals, or alternative energy. For example, the production of biofuels from algae, the development of innovative solutions to produce energy from the sea, or the development of innovative solutions related to marine litter and waste. Activities that cannot be supported under blue growth are investments in ships, investments in fisheries and aquaculture, including algae production, and activities involving energy production. Those activities are excluded from the GBER articles. Lastly, we have Information and Communication Technologies, or ICT. ICT can concern the development of innovative products, processes, and solutions that are new to the market, or the application of innovative solutions, processes, or products that are new for the enterprise. When we discuss ICT, that can be, for example, automation, so solutions that reduce human efforts, can concern information, so solutions that make relevant information more easily available, or transformation, that means solutions that help developing new products, services, and business models. Examples of activities that could fall under ICT are the development of a groundbreaking software solution, the application of existing technology that's new for the company for the digitalization of the monitoring of the production process, or, for example, the application of existing technology that's new for the company for the automation of the production process. Activities that cannot be supported under ICT are incremental updates or improvements for existing software solutions, and this is because those activities are not considered to be R&D. Thank you. Now I'll give the floor to my colleague Sofia to discuss a bit about project partnerships.
Hello, my name is Sofia Michu. So we will look at different type of project partnership projects. Oops. The presentation is not working. Okay. So projects can either be implemented by the applicant Greek company without a partner, or a project might include a partnership between two or more entities. So in cases where the project does not have a partner, all project activities are implemented by the applicant company. Some work could be subcontracted, but it is important to note that the applicant is the main beneficiary of the project. That is, the applicant should have most of the resources available internally to implement the project. And in cases of subcontracting work, the process to follow is depending on the value of the subcontracting work, either direct procurement or public procurement rules apply. And the co-financing of the project in this case is secured by the applicant company. So there are different types of partnership projects or different partnership structures. As mentioned, the partner might be a legal entity in Greece or a legal entity in one of the donor states. In each case, all entities should be independent of each other and perform substantial and relevant tasks to complete the project. But even for partnership projects, it is important to note that the applicant Greek company is the main owner of the project and the main beneficiary of the project results. A partner, however, a partner should effectively contribute to the implementation of the project. It cannot be just to the simple provision of a service or a product does not qualify as a project partnership. So in this case, the applicant company is the only beneficiary of the project results. The partner contributes with competence, knowledge, technology, best business practices. The co-financing is secured solely by the applicant company, which means that the partner will issue an invoice to the applicant for its services, and the applicant must cover the whole cost of the partner's services. And then the applicant is refunded by Innovation Norway for expenses made based on the approved grant rate for the respective activity. So this is the competence-based partnership. So in the case that the partner is also a beneficiary of the project results, so the partner can either be a private or a public company or research organization which performs economic operations. Here, the partner will benefit financially from the results of the project and will own IPR, intellectual property rights, and the partner contributes with co-financing. The partner is subject also to GBER state aid regulations. A separate contract is signed with Innovation Norway, and disbursement of the grant amount is made directly to the partner based on the grant rate awarded. The project might be eligible for a collaboration bonus if it's an effective collaboration to achieve a common objective. So all parties contribute to the project implementation and share the project risks and its results. And then there are partnerships where the beneficiary partner is a research and knowledge dissemination entity. So the partner is performing non-economic operations and it will use the project results for research purposes. So the same criteria apply. So there's a co-financing obligation, a separate contract is signed, and the disbursement of the grant amount is made directly to the partner based on the grant rate awarded. However, here the partner is eligible for the maximum grant rate included in the call text. And there is a possibility the collaboration bonus could be awarded if the project meets the criteria for collaboration bonus. So the project assessment methodology, the assessment process and selection procedure are clearly laid out in the call text, and you can refer, if you wanted to, the call text for the second call, which is available on the program's website. In broad terms, there are three different phases. The first is the administrative and eligibility check. So the application, we assess whether the application has been filled out in compliance with the call text requirements. That we check that all mandatory documents have been submitted with the application. In case something is missing or clarifications are needed, the applicant has at its disposal 10 days to provide this information. And non-compliance with any of the criteria leads to a rejection of the application, which is not subject to an appeal. The second phase is the technical and financial assessment. So we evaluate, each application is assessed against a set of criteria related to the financial performance of the applicant as well as the technical aspects of the project. We look, among other things, at the technical feasibility, the innovation level, the financial capacity of the applicant company, whether the project activities are eligible according to the call text, etc. So during this process, we might request clarifications and further documentation might be necessary. Then following this, the technical and financial assessment, all eligible project applications are ranked in a priority list. We might also call for a meeting with the applicant company in order to clarify some issues before the assessment is finalized. Then the projects which have passed these two phases are presented to the decision-making committee in Oslo based on the ranking list, and this committee approves or not the project. Now I will go through some of the common mistakes and pitfalls. There is a document on the program's website which is entitled Top Most Common Mistakes to Avoid When Preparing a Project Application, and I encourage you to go through it before applying. We will go through some of the common mistakes that we have encountered. So the firstly, the focus area of the project application has to match the focus areas of the relevant, one of the focus areas of the relevant call. All activities must fall under one of the GBER, the General Block Exemption Regulation articles, which are referenced in the call text. And of course, all project activities cannot have started before the project grant is awarded. All projects must meet the mandatory business indicators, that is, they should lead to an increase in revenues and net operating profit for the applicant company. So industrial research is also, activities are not eligible as stated beforehand. R&D activities which fall under experimental development are only eligible, so it's TRL 5 to TRL 8. R&D must include innovation at an international and not only national level. And the applicant must demonstrate the ability to co-finance the project, and the energy production activities are not eligible. Each activity will be assessed against the relevant state aid category, which are included in the GBER regulations. An SME bonus is awarded for projects with small and medium-sized company as an applicant. In cases of competence-based collaboration, the applicant has to pay the partner in full. No entity or activity can receive 100% grant rate, and the collaboration bonus can only be awarded in case of meaningful collaboration. So that's it. Now we'll go through some project examples, some R&D projects and some investment projects which are currently being implemented under our program.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Haris. Then we have 4 companies, as Sophia said, that has been so kind to participate in this event, and they will present their experience from implementation of projects under the EEA grants financed by the Business Innovation Greece program. So the first one is the representative from Plastic Kokotronis. Are you with us?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We cannot see you.
Yes. I'm turning on my camera. And okay, do you see me now?
Yes, welcome.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, and let's share. Okay, do you see it as a full screen?
Yes.
My presentation, okay. Good morning to everyone. Thank you, first of all, for your invitation. My name is Rumbini Petropoulou, and I am an operational efficiency engineer in Kotronis factory. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our project and our cooperation with EA Grants and Business Innovation Greece. KIMA 4, which is an ICT project. It stands for Kotronis Interconnection of Manufacturing Assets. And it's, in short, what we're going to do is that we're going to connect all of our machines to a dedicated server, gather tons of data and analyze it in order to improve performance, efficiency, and quality indexes in our production site. Our project consists of 5 basic modules, as you can see in the slide: monitoring, quality, setup, reporting, and planning. The monitoring module will give us the opportunity to see at a glance what is happening in our whole production site. For example, we will be able to see the current status of each machine, record downtimes, and have access to live data like our machine's cycle time or other process parameters. Apart from this, we will integrate the monitoring module with systems that we have already developed in-house. In the quality module, we will constantly record real process parameters, and the real values of the parameters during the production are very important for us for traceability reasons. The setup module will be saving all the data regarding our process that are set to the machines by our technicians. And in combination with the quality module and possible deviations, it will give us powerful insights for our scrap. Regarding the reporting, it will give us the ability to combine data, design customized and useful reports, and measure our KPIs, and proceed to remedial actions when needed. Last but not least, our planning process, our current planning process will completely change. The advanced planning system that we're integrating will get us from a manual planning to data-driven or automated planning. And moreover, APS system with MES system will provide us a live feedback to the planner and the sales based on the currently produced parts, the scrap, the downtimes, etc. By applying Industry 4 to our factory and investing in the digitalization of our production, we expect to increase our productivity, improve performance and efficiency, reduce scrap, and reduce our planning workload. In terms of budget, in order for you to understand KIMA better, the total budget is about 300,000 euros, and the biggest part of it is spent in licenses and hardware. More specifically, the MES and APS licenses cost approximately 90,000 euros, and the hardware that to be procured, like industrial PCs, scanners, printers or other devices cost 110,000 euros approximately. The rest of the budget is spent in other expenses categories. Cotronis cooperation with EA grants and Business Innovation Greece started in 2020, and it runs smoothly so far. The overall experience regarding the cooperation is very positive. Through all this period of time, we have established a great collaboration with EA grants and Business Innovation Greece, which is described by effective guidance and proper consulting services whenever needed, immediate response to questions when posed, simplified and efficient communication provided, and understanding and solving of requests that arise. Moreover, our cooperation is described by constant support on several issues, experienced staff which is always willing to help us, networking connections offered to our company, and to conclude, our collaboration with EA grants and Business Innovation Greece will be described as one of the most beneficial for Cotronis Plastics so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rumpina, for your very kind words and for sharing your experience from your project implementation. This is a very good example of a digitalization project, and we hope to see more projects like this in the third call as well. So, what happened to the screen?
Okay,
I don't know what we see. Okay.
I started sharing now.
Thank you. Okay, then we move to the next company presentation. It is the representative from Eldia who will present this project. Please.
Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen a little bit. First of all, I would like to talk to everybody about our experience with EA and Innovation Norway before I share any screen. Our company, my name is Dimitri Gorgis, and I would like to talk to you about my company, Eldia. Eldia was established in 1997 in Thessaloniki, Greece, and right now is among the premier companies in the waste management and recycling business in the country. This year we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. We are one of the oldest companies in the field. As you know, this is a very new field in the industry in Greece. And we came to Innovation Norway and EA grants 2.5 years ago when we first applied in order to receive a grant on an investment project which falls under the green industry innovation area. Our goal was to build and operate a state-of-the-art sorting plant. As most of the Greek attendees of this meeting know, in Greece, all of us in the household put our mixed recyclable products in a blue bin, which is being then collected by the municipalities and delivered to sorting plants. There, with the use of people and all kinds of equipment, we go through the sorting of all the various recyclable products. So our goal was to build and operate a state-of-the-art facility, and we applied to the Innovation Norway second phase of the grants. I would like to give you, first of all, an advice regarding the application phase. You have to keep it very simple. You have to submit a very complete application, and you have to pay a lot of attention to the presentation of the business plan of what you want to accomplish, because I am sure that this is a great help to the people who are going to evaluate your application. A very, very important factor also is the choice of your partner. We were very lucky because a Norwegian company by the name of NZN, which is the biggest waste management and recycling company in the entire Scandinavian area, has accepted our application to become our partners. And of course, as you can tell, we only get benefited from our cooperation with them. They have a tremendous know-how. They have the knowledge of the technology. They have helped us and guided us all the way as far as choice of the choice of the equipment, the choice of the technology that we have used, and also the layout of the various equipment within the building. We were lucky enough to get a grant from EEA, and that made our dream come true, of course, because we couldn't have done it without their contribution. Their contribution level was at an average of 45% of the entire investment. And during the implementation phase, I have to tell you that we received a tremendous help from the program coordinators. They were there to direct us all the way and answer all our questions, either via email or via telephone calls. They were very helpful in guiding us as to how we should fill out the reports and how we should proceed with the interim reports, which are a very, very important part of this process. And the only thing that you have to do when you are involved in this, when you get involved in this project, in this program, is to be very prompt to your obligations to the program. And if you do that, everything is very, very easy because you have a lot of people, you're surrounded by many people from the program in Norway and here who really guide you correctly through this program. And for the last time, I have to say that I'm very, very happy that we entered this program. Of course, we couldn't have done it again without it. And I strongly advise you to submit an application for this program because you can only benefit from that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to see if, so you just share one thing with you is the some facts about what we have now and what we are going to accomplish with the new plant. Okay, you see the current facts. We work at 2 tons per hour, we do a total of 4,000 tons per year. With the new sorting facility, we will work on 10 tons per hour, accomplishing 21,000 tons per year production. We will have a reduction of CO2 emissions by 41,000 tons per year, increase of the recyclable recovery rate by using state-of-the-art equipment, and decrease of the waste that is going to be going to the landfill by 20%. And one last thing, I want to show you the top 3 pictures are the current situation, and the bottom 3 pictures show you the new sorting facility with the state-of-the-art equipment as they are right now. So thank you very much again. Let me. Am I still on?
Yes, we see your
Okay. Okay. So that's it from me, Annelies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dimitri, and thank you for being such a good ambassador for the program. We appreciate that very much. And your project is, of course, a big green impact, and also your partnership is a good example of this competence-based partnership. Then we will move on to MVIS. Is the representative from MVIS with us today?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Hello to everyone.
Please.
And thank you for the opportunity to outline our work and discuss, of course, our experiences. So my name is Kyriakos Kandris. Just let me share my short presentation. I think now, let me go also full screen. As I said, my name is Kyriakos Kandris. I will very briefly outline our project, IFOS project, which is actually the short name of this large title that I have also included in this first slide. IFOS is an R&D project. It falls under one of the three main focus areas, and specifically under the blue growth category. We're an ongoing project. We have just entered the last quarter of the lifetime of the project. We're proceeding near our completion. So I will very quickly discuss the main idea, the type of the solution we wanted to develop, and some of the outputs, since, as I said, we have already covered nearly 75% of our work. Yes, so that's as I said, we fall under the category of blue growth. So our idea was mostly motivated by the need for resource efficient seawater desalination. Seawater desalination is the efficiency actually of this type of operations is threatened by, fortunately, few rare events of extreme water quality deterioration. So our idea was to develop a service to increase the preparedness of desalination plant operators against these rare extreme water quality decline events. In order to give an everyday example, I would like to draw an analogy here. We wanted to provide water forecasts just like weather forecasts. So we should think that by what I refer to as increasing preparedness, we can think this simple example of how we prepare, for example, ourselves ahead of extreme weather conditions. So in this regard, we have, I think, a good analogy, a good example of our initial idea. And I believe that this analogy is also valid in terms of the work that we have performed behind the service. So I try to illustrate in this slide this workflow that I'm referring to. Of course, I'm not going to detail it, but I would very quickly say that there's a set of models developed in IFOS and tested to simulate the coastal environment, and there are data streams from satellite observations, in situ ground sensors, and so on, that are integrated, and equally importantly, they are operationalized in order to generate in real time what I referred to previously as forecasts for the next days ahead of the water quality of the coastal areas. All these all this forecast information are all brought together in a web-based, easy to access, I believe at least, so a platform, a web-based platform, and comprise what I refer to here as a water information system. Actually, I wanted to illustrate this is actual forecasts from, I think, previous week. And I tried to capture this from our system It indicates, it's a map actually of sea temperature. The case study of the project, for those acquainted with Greece and Greek geography, it's Sararikos Gulf near Corinth. Currently, it's not only about this, let's say, platform. This web-based platform does not only introduces maps and graphs of these forecasts, as I tried to illustrate, but also we have developed actually tailored additional functionalities for seawater desalination operators. On one hand, we have an early warning system, which is actually what it says. It issues warnings when things seem to go in the wrong direction. And there's also under development and testing, we have a process optimization decision support tool, which actually examines different scenarios using forecasts and allowing operators, desalination operators, to assess these different scenarios using forecast information and preparing, as I said, and fine-tuning their operations. I think that, and with that, I could conclude. I would like to highlight what, at least for MVC, is a very important feature of the whole program of Business Innovation Greece. And I wanted specifically to highlight this, that we wanted to leverage the fact that the program facilitates partnerships, and all this work would not have been realized if it wasn't the contribution of our partners. And by design, we wanted to introduce their different angles and perspectives. So we, in the project, IFOS welcomed, on one hand, the contribution of our industrial partner, SICEM, that is SICEM, which also, apart from their insight on the processes, they offer the case study that we discussed, that I showed previously, which is the largest desalination plant in Greece. And equally importantly, I wanted to highlight the contribution of our Norwegian partners, NTNU and Sintef Ocean, with whom we are working together to evaluate the service and assess the scientific component, of course, behind the surface, and assess the adding value of such services for the desalination industry. So overall, I believe that with this partnership scheme, which, as I said, is facilitated by the Business Innovation Greece program, we believe that we can maximize the potential uptake of similar services by the potential end users. And with that, I can conclude. I would like, again, to thank you all for attending. For more information, of course, I'm at your disposal now, but you can all, you're more than welcome to visit our website or follow us on our social media accounts. And thank you again all for attending.
Thank you, Mr. Kandris, for sharing your project. This is a very interesting project, and it's an example of also a competence-based partnership. But in this case, we have a contractual research partnership. So thank you very much. Then we are running a little bit behind schedule, but we have reached the last company presentation from Ulysses. Are Ulysses with us? Yes.
Hello, can you see me?
Not yet.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you but not see you.
Oh, I've turned on the camera, so I don't know why you can't see me. I'll turn it off and on again.
And if you had, no, we can see you. Yes.
Okay, so third time lucky.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so as we are running behind, I'll try and do as quickly as I can, so that we can help you catch up. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we are a software company, a Greek software company. We specialize in the field of maritime software and other things, but in this project, it was the maritime project. We have a very innovative solution, and we were working. We work with the logic that IoT is changing how software works in the world. And whereas in the past you used to buy software from just one vendor and that vendor gave you all of the solutions, we now realize that a lot of very small, very innovative companies will provide a lot of very interesting vertical solutions. And in this case, we met Vesselman. Vesselman is a Norwegian company. They've got a very innovative solution on how to manage a dry dock. A ship's dry dock is a massive project. It takes place every 2.5 years. And you effectively maintain all of the things you can't maintain while you're sailing. So for example, if you are sailing and the engine is running, you cannot maintain it. Or if you are sailing and you want to paint the hull of the ship because you want it to be clean and efficient, you obviously cannot do it while you are in the sea. So this project is a massive headache for shipping companies. It can cost between 500,000 and 3 million euros. And it requires a lot of usability because you can't be looking after sort of maybe hundreds of people working around the ship and be able to track all of the projects. We as Ulysses have a leading plant maintenance system that looks at the whole life cycle of what happens while you are sailing and you are maintaining the equipment. And the integration with Vesselman gave us a perfect opportunity to have a solution that allows us to look at the whole plant maintenance system as from start to end. This gave us the opportunity to reach to clients that wanted an integrated solution. Before we had sort of not gained some new accounts simply because we didn't have a dry docking system. And the same issue was also a problem with Vesselman in that they couldn't just sell a little vertical solution that wasn't connected. The problem with integrations is that the funding, especially if the integration project is a project like ours, where the gains are not direct. It is not easy for you to explicitly say how much money you will gain, because you are looking at improving the productivity and the quality of a process, which is difficult to define. And it's not easy to get funding for this kind of projects. And I think EEA and Innovation Norway gave us the opportunity to develop something that would have been very difficult to self-fund it. So we are grateful to this. Also, as a company, we were new to working with sort of projects from the European Union, the EEA. So we were a little bit apprehensive to start with. But we were guided in, I would say, a wonderful way with the people at Innovation Norway on how to go through this. They were very objective and very direct with answers. They were very, very accessible. For example, Harris was always available, even though we were going through all this sort of a pandemic period. And we are grateful to that. I'm not going to talk a lot about the project because it's shipping, but I would like to say that at the end of the day, the big value we have got out of this project is that we are now looking at talking to customers in Norway, and the Vesselman are looking at talking to customers in the rest of Europe where we have a bigger footprint. The experience, and I think this is why we are here today, it was simple and straightforward. It was very adaptable. It was very easy for us to find solutions to problems. The staff are dedicated. You don't, our experience with a big government type of organizations is not the same as it was with Innovation Norway. And as I said, it was highly supportive. Just to conclude with the benefits, we brought together a lot of individuals from with an academic knowledge and technical knowledge, and a lot of clients. And we worked together with our Norwegian friends. We exchange a lot of knowledge and ideas, which develop further projects because we are entering the second call as well. The bonding between the teams is strong. And now we have North Shipping, which is the biggest shipping event in the north of Europe that we will attend with Vesselman. And afterwards, towards May, June, we have Posidonia, which is the biggest maritime event in the south of Europe, where Vesselman will also come. And as I said, commercially, it has helped us a lot to produce this whole product that we didn't have before. And it also allows us now to have a much bigger scope of clients and effectively share some of the sales resources as we go and see different clients. We don't both have to go and see them. I think to conclude, because we're running out of time, we are very happy with this project. We would do it again, and we've done it again with a different call. And thank you very much to everyone at Innovation Norway and EA Grants for helping us through this. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pantelis, for your kind words and for sharing your story. And your project is actually an example of a partnership where also the Norwegian partner is a beneficiary partner and contribute with the co-financing. So this concludes the presentation from the companies. Then I would like to invite the representative from our national program partner, Hellenic Development Bank, please.
Hello from me. Good morning. My name is Panagiotis Papageorgiou. Let me share a screen for the presentation. Okay, could you see my screen, please? Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
All right, okay. My name is Panagiotis Papageorgiou. I hold the position of the Business Innovation Director for the bank. Very glad to be with you today to briefly present you on our newly financial instrument to support innovation in Greece. One word only, since we run out of time, for HDB Greece. What it does, we leverage European funding and state aid funding in order to design and launch financial tools to support Greek companies, always through the local banking system, facilitating thus entrepreneurs to increase their bankability by providing them guarantees or co-financing schemes or combination of both in order to lower the credit risk of the bank and wherever this undertaking is needed. That is how the risk is shared between us, the banks and the entrepreneurs, and the cost of the financing finally, or the collaterals needed, are lower. It is true that any innovation attempts in any business plan pertain usually a high amount of risk, and risk sharing is our job. So this is not the only thing we do. By creating financial tools, we do create also non-financial supporting schemes, but for the sake of the presentation, these are all included in the deck that you will receive through the organizers in your offices after this webinar takes place. And coming back to risk sharing, that's why HDB decided to create a financial tool that aims to reward plainly those who are daring to innovate by combining a guarantee together with a grant scheme, adding the benefits of the ESG awareness, which is and will be prominent, a key index to follow the sustainability of any company in the future. So moving on our innovation loan. This is all about a combination of a guarantee and a grant. From left to right, with the lone purpose of strengthening the competitiveness and extroversion of the Greek entrepreneurship. We created something for not only 7,368 companies that is on the right-hand side, but there are more of them in the innovation spectrum of Greece. In Greece, we do have something like 800,000 small, medium enterprises, but only 40,000 of those are bankable. And although the administration says that this number is a little bit larger, coming back to 100,000, but still there are many more innovative companies that we don't know and that would like to be benefited from this project. The product beneficiaries on the left is startups, any company, small, medium-sized enterprises. The eligibility criteria are mainly INOFIN criteria, which banks, they do know them and they have accepted them and used them in the past. Or plainly that a company must be registered in the Elevate Greece registry of the startups, or any company that had benefited in the past from previous research, innovation, advancement, state aid support programs. The state aid is de minimis. That means we do have a cap of 200,000 euros to be reached as a level of an aid. And on the right-hand side again, this is a financial instrument that gives you a loan for a certain loan duration, maximum 10 years. And by finishing a grace period where you're just about to complete your investment, including working capital needs, then you may ask to be evaluated if you are eligible to get a bonus, which is a capital rebate. Moving to the next slide. Clockwise, a minimum amount, a loan amount will be fueled as a 40,000 euro to any company is eligible, and the eligibility criteria again is wide. The loan portfolio amount that will be fueling to the market will be 140 million through the banks. The loan purpose is investment plan, also covering working capital needs for the creation of the innovation on the business plan. Of course, everything is to be flared with supporting documents. VAT is eligible. What we offer is 80% loan guarantee rate and 30% cap guarantee to the bank's portfolio. What we give as a bonus is a grant rate capital rebate, a total of 20% based on 15% on innovation criteria and 5% on ESG criteria. That if the companies will meet, they will get a lower repayable amount by 20%. The loan duration is 10 years, grace period at maximum to 3 years. We don't take any guarantee commission fee, and we shrinked the collateral from the clients requested by the banks to the 20% maximum of the loan value, and this product will be launched by the end of March. How you do get capital rebate upon request, it will be based a 15% grant rate rebate in the form of you will be repaying less by 15% if you meet either or two criteria, at least one. That means on the left-hand side, do as you preach. You're supposed to plan for investing for an innovation. That means you have to prove that you spend on your investment period, grace period, call it whatever, at least 20% of your total operating cost in innovation, and or try to prove that at least you have invested in innovation the 20% of your amount of loan. So it's either loan-based or operating cost-based. And if you want to get the next bonus of the 5% and come up to a total 20% capital rebate, then you have to meet at least 2 out of the 3 groups of ESG criteria. ESG is environmental, social, and governance. Coming again from the left to right, it's you have to meet either or a 20% reduction on energy consumption, or to prove that you're using renewable energy sources coming up to at least 20% of your total energy consumption. And then we go to the middle, the social criteria. Again, if you can offer the presence or the increase of female employees on your top management position, salary level wise, up to 10%. This has to be, we take your salaries and we see whether up to the top 10% bracket women are included, or you do have an increase in number of employees, or if you do have an increase in the amount of invested in employee training. And then on the governance criteria, any company must have a corporate governance. Either it's going to be a middle size or a small company, or a data security policy. And again, you can choose if you meet these criteria, or if you do have the existence of any customer satisfaction surveys. So by meeting these criteria, what we offer is a total of 140 million to the market, 80% guarantee, 20% capital rebate, and the launch will be by March 22, end of March. This program, certainly this tool can work as a complementary tool. That's what we think. To this call we are just having now from the Innovation Norway call, and provided that our grant and your grant calculation is not exceeding the sum of the amount provided by the GBER articles you are working with. Again, this is not the only tool that we do have for supporting the innovative business in the market, but we'll be in touch. Whatever you wish is on our presentation. All details are here. We'll be glad to reply to you very promptly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Panayotis. This is a very interesting scheme, so I hope some companies will take this opportunity as well. Okay, then we have finalized our presentation for the webinar. We are a bit behind schedule, but there are still some 10 minutes left for questions. And you can also, of course, send us questions to our contact email, but I would like to give the word again back to Ranveig. So if you want to raise, or if you have questions, please raise your hand and Ranveig will organize the Q&A session.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Please raise your hands. I have received some questions already on email and chat, so we can start with that while people are thinking. There was one easy question. It is, will we share the presentation and the recording after this meeting? And even I can answer that. The answer is yes. We will send out an email with all the information to everyone who's registered. We also have a question on partnerships, and it is whether it is mandatory in an application to have a partner from Iceland or Norway.
No, it's not mandatory. However, they do get additional points during the assessment process. But the main thing to remember is that the partnership has to be the effective collaboration. I mean, it has to, the partner has to contribute to the implementation of the project. So this is the main thing to remember. But no, it's not obligatory.
Yeah. So good partnerships, like the examples we heard today. Yeah. There's also a question: can you have partners from other EU countries?
No. It has to be a legal entity from Greece or from one of the donor states.
And I can mention there are some 30 up to 40 Norwegian and Icelandic entities who are registered for the matchmaking. So it's a good place to find a partner. This is a good question as well. How long does the assessment take?
It's more or less 6 months. The process is quite long, and it's a very in-depth assessment process, as stated during the presentation. So more or less, one needs to estimate that it will take 6 months. Because of the short implementation period for the third call, we will try and see whether this can be a little bit condensed, but I think that each company, applicant company, should estimate a 6-month period.
Just to make a brief comment here, our assessment process is a bit different to other funding schemes that you may be used to as EU projects. So we work together during the assessment process to clarify the project idea. So we base our evaluation based on the project idea, and we did not limit ourselves to what is submitted at the time of the application. So we will work with you to clarify if we have any questions, and we will take into consideration all the information provided as long as the project idea is sound.
Very good. There's also a question: can applicants submit more than one application?
No.
Okay. Does it matter if they submitted an application to the previous calls?
So yes, if they submitted an application in the previous calls, they can submit another application in this call, and that also concerns projects that were approved in one of the previous calls. So those applicants can also apply under the third call, but only one application per applicant in the current call.
All right. But partners can be in several applications. Partners from Iceland. Good. And the question here is VAT an eligible cost?
So in the cases where VAT is recoverable, then it's not an eligible expense. In the rare cases where VAT is not recoverable, then it is an eligible expense.
Okay. And sorry. Okay, and there's maybe a final question before we finalize. What about renewable energy? Can that be included in the project as an eligible?
Yes, if it's an R&D project, so it concerns the development of innovative solutions related to renewable energy production or technologies, then that can be supported. But if it's renewable energy production, either for own use or to provide, then those activities cannot be covered in the program, cannot be supported. So only R&D projects, not investment projects for renewable energy production.
Okay. Thank you. There's not very many raised hands, but that is okay because I assume that you will be available, colleagues, for questions afterwards as well.
We will. And now I can see one hand.
Yeah. Then I give the floor to Antona Kopoulos Konstantinos.
Konstantinos, yeah. Thank you. My question is whether startups are eligible for the grants from Innovation Norway.
Okay, so the call is not tailor-made to startups, but startups can apply if they fulfill the rest of criteria. So the criteria is that a company has to be registered in Greece and be in operation for at least 1 year by the time they submit the application. So if a startup has been in operation for 1 year and they can submit an application, the only concern is that the companies have to prove that they can co-finance the project somehow. So if you can co-finance the project, because that will be a big question, then of course you can submit an application.
Mm-hmm. Can I have a follow-up question?
Yes.
Yes. So today we've been admitted to the ESA big incubator in Greece to pursue our solution. And that incubation would probably last for 1 to 2 years. Is that in conflict for applying for grants in Innovation Norway?
As long as the project does not receive funding outside the framework of Business Innovation Greece, so you do not receive any funding for the project that you will submit, then there's no conflict.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Faya Elijami. Sorry about the pronunciation, but you have the screen.
Hello, I have a question. How do we prove that we can co-finance the project? Are there specific documents that we need to submit?
No specific documents. We will look at your financial accounts and discern whether your past financial performance or future predictions are sufficient to cover the co-financing. If not, then we will ask you how you intend to co-finance the project. You might wish to take up a loan, and we might ask for a letter of intent or something like that, but it's a project-based approach. So we will discuss with you your intentions. We can say that you intend to increase the company capital in the following years. So that could be the source of the co-financing. So it's something that we will discuss and define with you during the assessment.
Perfect. Thank you.
Just to mention that we encourage you to register to our newsletter so that you are notified immediately when the call is announced. We have a frequently asked questions in the previous call, so you can also consult that under the previous call documents, and it will be published again under the third call. Yes, I want to mention that before we close.
That's good.
Good. Can I also mention at the matchmaking, we, Sophia, Haris, Annalisa, and I have also signed up, so you can book meetings with us bilaterally if you have more questions.
And the meetings can be today, no, or it can be later on.
Yeah.
Okay, we are reached the end of our time slot, and there are no more raised hands as I can see, but there were some good questions, and thank you to my colleagues for replying to them. Then I think on the last slide we have in our presentation, there you will find the contact email for the program email. So in case you have other questions you would like to raise with us or project ideas that you would like to have a viewpoint about, then please don't hesitate to send us an email. Then actually we are still more than 50 people, and we have been close to 80 all the time, so this is really good. I think then we should wrap up, and so I would like to thank all of you for participating in and your interest for the Business Innovation Greece program. And as mentioned, we will share with you the recordings and presentations from the meeting. Let me also take this opportunity to inform you about an upcoming event. This will actually be a hybrid event in Athens or Piraeus. It will be on the 10th and 11th of May, where Innovation Norway will organize together with the program operators for the other business programs under the EA Norway grants. We will have a conference on blue growth. And together with the information package from this event, we will also send you a link to the event page for the Blue Growth Conference. So then you can read more about this event and sign up for participation, either hybrid or you also may want to participate in person. So then I would like to say thank you once again on behalf of Innovation Norway. Thank you for all the speakers, to my colleagues, and for all the other participants. And we really hope to receive many relevant project applications under the third call for proposals. And of course, we are also encouraging and hope to have more donor partnership projects in the third call. So use the opportunity under the matchmaking, and also this platform is accessible by you later on. So you will be able to check the database of all the companies registered for this event, and maybe you will contact some of them for discussions about partnerships later on. Let me also mention briefly that we do have a travel support scheme. So in case there is a need to go and see some facilities between partners to meet physically, then you can also apply for a travel support grant, which is also available from our program website. So with these few words, thank you once again for your interest and time, and we look forward to see you again. Thank you, and goodbye for now.